Welcome back, everybody. This is Mitchell Prettyman with Love and Knowledge. But, what are we talking about today? Oh, that's right. Gaza, Palestinians, humanity, Israel. How do we make an impact? That's really the thing that I want to talk about today. What can we do? You know, you're sitting here, you're watching all of this horrific media, and as a civilian, I'm sitting here in Phoenix, Arizona, wondering, what can I do? I connected with a few Palestinians on the ground, talking with them, seeing their stories, witnessing their stories, has been one of the most powerful tools for me. And I have been sitting here brainstorming, trying to figure out what can I do. And so naturally I looked up and researched everything that I could possibly do. I don't know how many of you out there are leveraging the net these days. Hopefully 100% of you. But also another thing that we can do is to leverage AI, leverage the tools that we have been given in this age to make sure that we can build a strong foundation, a foundation that has cracked in recent years. Our morality is slipping. There's that old adage, strong men make good times make weak men make hard times make strong men. And the cycle goes, and the cycle goes. We are in that moment where we got complacent. We got caught lacking. Existence as a whole is looking at us and wondering what we are going to do. Now more than ever, we can see everything that happens in the world with a click of a button. And we have to ask ourselves, what do you do now that you can see? Personally, first, turn inward. Ask yourself, what kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want your legacy 50, 100 years from now to say that I stood by? No, not me. I want to say that I stood up, that I took the hits from society. I took the hits from every politician, every funding cut, every bit of media that I didn't get to push out because I was censored, every advertisement that I forewent because I decided that what was right was more important than winning financially and monetarily. One of my favorite lines from a speech in a book is, "We do this not because we can win, but because it is right to do so." I love that. I could listen to that speech all day. Because it is right to do so. That is true character. That is something that your family, friends, and partners and children will want to stand beside. I do what is right regardless of what the world says, regardless of what money says. I would say power, but this is true power. Even if you go to the grave with it, it sings within the echoes of eternity. That's straight out of Gladiator. What we do in life echoes in eternity. Now, do you want what resounds within your soul in the place without time to be you stood by and just watched it happen? No. You stood up. You did what you could. You said no to anybody that would listen. Nobody is inherently evil. But when we let the worst in us, the bestial nature, take over, that evil is allowed to flourish. We have both light and dark. And when we allow the black wolf to rise instead of the white wolf, we chain ourselves. The whole world is turning against Israel right now, not because they are inherently bad. They're doing right now what many civilizations have done in the past. You're stronger, so you took something that somebody else had. Every single nation on the planet can boast such. But we are reaching a high point again in consciousness. Human society is a waveform just like anything else in this universe. It goes up and it goes down. We can see it all around us. Listen to Joe Rogan talk about the megaliths. Look outside when you go down to Peru, or you go scuba diving off the coast of Japan. When you go to Egypt, it's all around us. Our society has risen and fallen throughout the decades. Did I say decades? Centuries, millennia. We are reaching for another high point. But that high point depends upon our morality. If our technology outpaces our morality, we're doomed to repeat cycles. And right now, our morality is screaming at us to get it together. This is something that we need to do as a collective. The internet has been one of the greatest gifts we've been given, because now we can see each other, we can understand each other with the click of a button. We can see how similar we all are to each other in most respects. And we can also see the things that others do that we don't agree with. And we can have discourse on that. One of the things that needs to go is this base need to conquer. If we live as a connected society, everything flows between us. It is when we marginalize others and take without reciprocity that everyone suffers. That's a cancerous mindset when a fraction of the population takes 90% of the resources. That's cancer. It's a cancerous mindset. And we need to turn that around. If only a few cells got all the oxygen from the blood in the body, the organism would die. And we're seeing that again, where the blood is not being allowed to flow freely, it's being hoarded instead of redistributed, so that everything flows, everything grows. Things change hands, things move, things oscillate. The ebb and flow of life happens. The earth is wide, good, and rich, and can provide for everyone. It's a little bit of Charlie Chaplin right there, another one of the greats. But the earth is rich, it's big, it's good. And if we stopped fighting each other for 5 friggin' seconds, man, just imagine what we could do. We could build cities on the oceans, maybe even underneath them. We could stop with this brutalist architecture that's crushing everybody's spirit and begin again to enjoy and love life. Utilize all of the breadbasket portions of the globe to feed everyone. So the Swedish did a population study where they measured how many children people had in third world countries versus first world. And the third world countries had more children because they were not sure if the kids would survive or not. It's a simple survival strategy. Listen to any David Attenborough film, and you'll see that that's definitely one of the things that creatures on the planet do to ensure that at least one of their gene lines survives. And in first world countries, they had one, maybe two kids. Just simple replacement. If we focused on resources that are sustainable, use hemp for a majority of our stuff, instead of using all of the scarce resources on the planet so that you can make a quick buck on everybody. For example, lithium comes to mind. Lithium, tiny amount on the planet. So you can sell it at exorbitant prices. When we know that you can make batteries out of graphene, something that is made out of carbon that can be synthesized. The other thing is we can get rid of interest. Across history, interest has been outlawed because it consolidates wealth with no work into the hands of a few in a couple generations. It's one of those societal cancers that we have allowed to permeate our society, and it's doing exactly what it's designed to do. People make more money than you could make in multiple lifetimes just doing regular work, utilizing interest. They had some money, they loaned it out, and in the case of mortgages and houses, let's take that for example, they loan out, say, $260,000 at 7% interest, or so they say. So you think, they're making $15,000 on their money, maybe a little bit over that. No. During the course of a loan on $260,000 at the current market rate between 6 and 8%, they're making 150% on their money. So basically, you're paying more in interest for that house than you actually are paying for the house. It makes zero sense. Except for them. Except for the ones making that money. It's a financial cancer. Utilizing so much work energy for next to no work. This isn't a tool that we should be using. Greed needs to be examined. Our social organization, our social goals need to be examined. Because Gaza, what's happening there, is stemming from greed, from conflict, from seeing other parts of our existence, for this is a collective existence. We all belong to it. It's the common denominator. Every single one of us exists. We need to undo the way that we think so that we can get in touch with the truths that underpin peace and prosperity. Morality is just a set of guidelines that support life. That's what it is. Being good to each other, not killing, not stealing, not being a dick. You're not causing pain, you're not causing strife. You're upholding agreements, you're keeping things at a high level of continuity. Morals are just things that support life, functioning properly. It's when we try to mess each other over, when we try to take from each other, steal, lie, kill. It's like we disrupt the flow, we disrupt the pattern. We need to educate ourselves. We need to look inward, because outward education at the moment has been warped. We look at wealth and status and power instead of life itself, the joy of living, existence, art, music, architecture, the joy of creation. Just pure joy, the joy of existing at all. That's true wealth. Having love all around you, again, true wealth. And when we all work together, when we're all joyful, when we're all in love with life, that is the ultimate power. When everything is aligned, there is nothing that we cannot do. We need to restructure our societal norms, and it starts with you. You think about it, you think about your actions, you become aware. These conflicts that the world is experiencing are a failure to listen to the intelligence within all of us. We are all of us awakening. Not woke, but awakening. It starts with discontentment, pain, anger, sadness. It's a buildup. When you can't take ignorance no more. Something doesn't feel right, you can't figure it out. What is it? But there's something choking the flow of peace to your heart, suffocating the contentment in your brain until something in you sparks. That something is what we truly are. It's the consciousness. We sleep and wake. In Dune, they say, the sleeper must awaken. All of this will lead to conscious awareness. You start asking yourself, why am I unhappy? Why is my job like this? Why is the company like this? Why is the world like this? What are we doing, really? Why am I here? Why are all these other people here? They don't really look happy. Just sitting here in these cubicles in this big box, wondering why we have to do all these numbers when the sun is shining and our families are not here. Not to say the work is bad, but a lot of the work we all do. It's like I'd talk to more people that say they don't like their job than people that do. That seems weird to me. It's why? It's like if you truly loved what you were building, then, you wouldn't feel like that. We need to restructure. We need to recalibrate. We need to rethink what we're doing and how we're doing it. This awareness leads to questioning, to more noticing, to seeking, You get answers. Those answers lead to more questions. You start to change. You revert. Then you get tired of that reversion because you're aware of it, but it's hard to change because you're breaking patterns. You start activating. You start connecting. You start detoxing. That's another thing. It's what we're eating. It's like we were all walking around in Ferraris. We got these human bodies, but we're feeding it crude oil in a lot of cases instead of premium. We really need to rethink that, because your ability to draw in knowledge from the source is dependent on how well your biomechanics are running. It's like the mind is supported by the body. If you're feeding the body sludge, it's going to be real difficult. Another thing to think about. But when you start detoxing and you start building these new patterns, others are drawn to you because you draw in more energy by doing this. When you clean up the system, when you clean up your Ferrari, when you give it a new paint job, when you mod out the engine a little bit, give it that nice exhaust, clean up the intake, all that good stuff. It starts sounding better, it starts looking better, it starts being better. And people are drawn to that because they want that too. And people that resonate on the same level as you will notice that and be drawn to you. That's why a lot of times when you go through transformation and change, when you start to awaken, you lose friends and family that are not willing to change yet. I went through that myself. I went through I had a giant group of friends. And I got to the point where I was like doing music, smoking, drinking, having fun every single weekend. Just had anything that I wanted at my beck and call, but I started to realize that I was living the same experience over and over and over and over again, and I wasn't getting anything out of it. I wasn't changing. I wasn't transforming. I was stagnating. I was regressing. And when I finally decided that I needed to clean up my act to move forward, I was granted a vision. And in my vision, my higher self came to me, and it said, "The party does not get better until you get better." And I really had to think about that. It took me a week to think that through. And at the end of that week, I broke up with the girl that I was seeing. I let her know what I was going through. I was very honest. It wasn't about her. It was about me. I gave up the room that I had with all of my friends in one of the most popular houses in Phoenix at the time. And I left everybody. About 1,000 people that I knew and loved. I left them all behind because something inside me wanted more. And a lot of my friends would call me. A lot of my friends would try to connect. But as I started to go off and be alone and transform, move to a completely new state, it's like I stopped receiving phone calls. I stopped having those connections, nurturing them. And I was forced to become something new because I realized that having all those people around me, they were supplying me different types of energy that I was not cultivating for myself, but that I needed to become a fully realized version of myself. So I started in my solitude to cultivate all those things. Solitude is a tool that the universe blesses us with that we usually think of as a curse. It hurts to be alone. But it's a fail-safe to teach us how to love ourselves. It teaches us to become quiet and still so that we can realize where those pains are coming from. In my case, I had a whole list of things that I needed to develop to become the man that I needed to be to meet my wife and have my first child. Because that's what was around the bend, was more love, a different type of love, a more refined love. I was going to be the father to a daughter that I hadn't even met yet. So I had to learn to get quiet. I had to learn to become more sensitive. I had to learn to identify the things that I did that hurt people so that I wouldn't be callous towards somebody who was completely new to this place. Children are the greatest blessing. They remind you what love truly is, unobstructed. And every time that I see such a gift abused by societal greed, lust for wealth, status, and power, instead of realizing that we are all one, that the people that you see are just different versions of you walking around. It's a universe trying to make a sense of itself. It's existence trying to make sense of itself. The entire thing possesses the capacity for sentience, and it's networking with itself through all of us. That's what we are. It's the universe looking at itself. But the universe is just a fraction of the thing that existence is. This is our little sector. We need to take care of it. We need to take care of each other. I don't know what you believe, but for me, I look up at the stars, and I look in every direction. Nearest star to us, Proxima Centauri. What is that, 4 light years away? It's like light years. It's a long, long way away. We're the only ones around. Why are we even considering blowing each other up when this is all we got? We don't got the tech to get to Proxima. We don't even got the tech to get ourselves to Mars. And we're blowing each other up, putting children out on the street, killing them in their homes, in their tents. Because we don't understand. We don't acknowledge what this is. We're not, even if we do know, it's like you're not turning your knowledge into wisdom. What we all do know, though, is that what's going on here is wrong. We can feel it. We need to connect together with others on this same path. The world is rising. And Bane from Batman, the fire rises. We gotta overcome our nihilism, our depression. We need to fall in love with ourselves again, with living. It's easy to look at what's going on in Ukraine and Gaza and half of Africa and become numb to it, to say that I don't want to live in this world. I don't know what it is to live in this world, to detach. That's a natural human response, to detach from that. We need to assert our purpose, our duty towards each other, our responsibility to love each other. Because in a universe this vast, who else? Who else but us? Family, kinship, friendship, music, art, spirituality. There's enough resources in the world. We can grow hemp, make houses out of hemp. We can figure out how to build out of stone. We can grow our fuel. We're just not using it. It's outlawed. Because it's too good. It doesn't provide enough scarcity. There are more solutions in this world staring us in the face than we're willing to accept because we don't know what that looks like. Not to struggle. We look to so-called leaders who have allowed their nihilism to take over, who have become so disillusioned with living that they feel the need to inflict scarcity and pain. They need to assert control because they don't love and trust themselves and they don't understand their connection to the greater self, i.e., all of us. It's not just them, it's all of us. The more people that understand this connection from the ground up, the better things become, the easier it is for others to accept the idea. It's like dominoes, it's the 100-monkey experiment. It's like a resonance in consciousness. It's like we're all nodes of consciousness when you think about it. It's like study the Institute of Heart Math, study Joe Dispenza. Two exceptionally gifted bodies of knowledge that speak about the heart and the mind. But there are resonances between all of these nodes, between all of us. And the more of the nodes are exhibiting a certain frequency, a certain understanding, a certain neural pattern that creates an electromagnetic signature that emanates out through the heart field. Yeah, do some study on that stuff, and you'll realize that that is the mechanism behind why when a bunch of people believe the same thing, even if the thing is wrong, it's like the CIA has done tons of studies on this, but even if something's wrong, it's like people are more likely to just follow through with whatever the people are doing because there's more people doing it. It seems right. And what seems right now is overcoming the illusion of separateness. We're better than this. We need to work to overcome the system of oppression that we ourselves have implemented on us. Our acquiescence to the system So most people stop at, how can I do it? The first thing is to think about it. If nothing comes up, you talk to others about it. And you keep talking to them. And then you just start doing it. You form coalitions, you form bodies, pockets within society that do it a certain way. The way the system works now, it's basically debt slavery. Charging too much for things that shouldn't cost a lifetime's worth of work. Like, oh, your house costs 30 years worth of work. It didn't take 30 years worth of work to build the house and mine the materials or take the materials. It didn't. There needs to be a difference in the way that we value things. Because as it stands, people at the top are farming other people's life force for their own gain because of a fundamental misunderstanding within themselves. If they won't change, we must. Joy and happiness are on the other side of that. But the trick is to feel it right now within you before you get there, because you choose to. You choose to manufacture the feeling and persist in that until it exists. Something called the law of assumption, something that every human needs to learn and become a disciplined master at. We need to transmute the bestial nature to a sentient nature. The high mind needs to rule the low mind. Humans are part beast and part sentient. We are a transitory phenomena within consciousness, a tool for energy to upgrade itself. And you can either utilize this great gift or let it go by the wayside and remain the same. So, Gaza, how, as a civilian, do you achieve maximal impact to influence Israel to agree and adhere to a ceasefire with Palestine? It's a multifaceted approach. Do what you can. Leverage as many channels, networks, and strategies as you are able. I know we're all really busy with the debt slavery, but we do what we can. Number one, education and awareness. Develop a deep understanding of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, its history, the current situation. Stay updated on the latest developments. Be aware of the complexities and the nuances. And learn both sides. Peace comes from both sides. If we achieve peace and then in revenge, because Lord knows if that happens, everything is undone. Somebody has to be the bigger person, yes. and somebody has to grow. In fact, both sides need to grow. This is a long-standing conflict. And yes, it was enacted by one side, but the other side also has its part to play. And this must be acknowledged from both ends so that you can seamlessly integrate both ends. That's how peace is made. There have to be concessions. There has to be a stitching together between the two forms of consciousness, the two different patterns. The next thing, networking, community building. You gotta connect with like-minded individuals. They are all over the net. These videos, go to them, see who's following, see who's outspoken. Connect with them. Form networks, coalitions, so that you guys can talk about this and do something about it together. After the fact, you'll probably have some really good business relationships and friendships. Side note. Connect with organizations and communities that share the goal. Build relationships with Palestinian and Israel activists that are committed to peace. The real big one here is Israeli activists. You need to get a hold of those guys. They're about, 12% from the last number that I saw of Israel's population? It's really low, but as pressure mounts, that number's going to build. Support them. It's the voice of peace within a majority that is committed to war. Commit to or connect with academics. Look for civil society leaders. Talk to them. Figure out their plans. Coordinate. Coordination right now is huge. Advocacy and lobbying. If you have the acumen to be able to do that, which really doesn't take much. It's like a phone and the right number would suffice for the basics. But contact your elected representatives. This is huge, and I don't think many people do this. At least when we're talking about our whole population. It's like so many, the majority, I know at least of Americans, disagree with this war. If even a fraction of that was calling every single senator, every single congressman, every government official, if you put aside 30 minutes of your day to just call those offices, because you probably wouldn't even get through, but at least to just have the phones ringing and leave messages and have them listen to that over and over and over again. This is wrong. We are against this. Do not do this. That kind of thing. You would see movement. You would see progress. Just imagine, like anybody that owns a business, anybody that works in a business, can you imagine if every single customer you have all of a sudden, all at once, called you and over and over and over and over and over again told you, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like this, like part of your service. You need to stop this. Every single one of them, over and over and over and over and over again. what do you think you would do? If it just didn't stop. It's like that Bruce Almighty moment. It's like, call us, or we'll just keep paging you. It's like when the beeper wouldn't stop ringing off the hook even when he broke it. It's like, how do children get things done? They have nothing else but, it's like my little daughter is, Daddy, 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 I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Daddy, 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 pick me up, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. Okay, baby. Okay. Daddy was busy, but I hear you. You have made me hear you. I'm picking you up now. That's how it works. That is the best. Children are the best salesmen. The best by far. Use that tactic. Those government representatives will fold if everybody is saying the same thing to them in their face. That's their job, and they have forgotten that. They are serving a fractional percentage of the people out there. This needs to stop. We need to shift from Cancer Society mindset to free-flowing society mindset. And part of that is with the politicians. Urge them to support the policies that promote ceasefire and peaceful resolution. Join advocacy organizations. Partner with organizations like America Friends Service Committee or Jewish Voice for Peace or the Palestinian American Community Center to amplify your voice and leverage their expertise. Look at the people that are organizing. Support them in any way that you can. Ask them, what can I do? What can a civilian, what can I do? Little old me. You got to stop thinking about yourself like that. Little old you is a human. Any human that's ever done anything started with that mindset. But that is not where they ended. Because they believed that they could make a difference. They believed that they could. Instead of folding to the beast mind and saying, this is too much. I can't handle this much stress. I have too much on my plate. Petitions and campaigns. Participate in or launch petitions. I did it in 5 minutes. There's plenty of websites out there that'll create a petition for you. You just got to do it and then just send it on every social media platform you got. If you got time, get actual signatures out in the streets in front of your... It's like we've all had the guy, come up to you in the grocery store or outside in the parking lot. Hey, this is what I'm petitioning for. It's like when weed was becoming legal, I always would get these guys coming up to me. Hey, man, it's like, sign this petition. Weed's going to be legal. It's going to be big. And then it was. And now every state is making several $1 billion in taxes off it. Fantastic. Letter writing campaigns or social media initiatives that call for a ceasefire and an end to occupation. Letters, I know, it's a little old school, but you can also send them to your representatives because it's a letter. It's like, what happens when you get a letter these days? You're like, oh my gosh, it's like it's addressed to me? Somebody wrote this? It's like, this is amazing. It's archaeotech. It's from a different age. But naturally, you have to spend the time opening it. You have to put effort into it. And then you have to read it. And they're going to have to do that because it's all coming to them and they don't know what it is until they open it. Email has made things very quick. But letters, who knew? One of the big ones, economic pressures, and this has been a hot topic of debate. In Texas, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, with his unconstitutional House Bill 89, the Anti-Boycott, Divestments, and Sanctions Bill. Goes against everything that we know to be free speech. And it was found unconstitutional, is going through a whole bunch of revisions. He's still trying to push it, but it's going to fail, and we all know it. But economic pressure is a statement that we can all use that does not use violence. Some critics will say, well, if we don't sell them stuff, then they're going to be hurting. So you don't think the Palestinians are hurting? They won't even let food in, man. It's like we've all seen those Holocaust-looking picket lines that they got them running through, only to be fired on with tanks, rained down upon with bombs from aircraft, drone bombed. It's like, it's ridiculous. This has got to stop. So boycott, divestment, sanctions. You got to pressure Israel to comply with international law and respect fundamental human rights. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. Yeah, they want the land, but they cannot have it. Not like this. This is not even war at this point. This is slaughter. You're luring people in and gunning them down. Luring them in with food when they're starving and gunning them down. And then you're giving them no place to run. That is one of the biggest things about this entire conflict. It's like in Ukraine, people could run the other way into Europe. They could get their civilians out for the most part. In Gaza, there is nowhere to go. They have the whole thing fenced in. You can't go to the sea, you can't go out. And they're just getting rained on. Fire, not water. Corporate accountability, research and expose companies that profit from the occupation, or that are even more involved and have human rights abuses in Palestine. Encourage others to boycott or divest from these companies. This is one of the most powerful tools that we have, and it is a choice that you can make. It is protected by freedom of speech. And even if politicians like Mr. Abbott try to come after you, you will win out. This is a revolution of morality. And everybody is going to have to bleed just a little bit to make it a reality. To make it a reality. You can invest in the Palestinian economy, what's left of it. Support Palestinian businesses, cooperatives, and initiatives that promote economic development and self-sufficiency. You can also ask them, and this is going to be a tough one, but ask them to support peace, to find new leadership outside of Hamas. That has been Israel's biggest FU card. And I get it, they're probably the only Palestinians who still have weapons. But they have got to figure out a way to get these guys out of power and put some new guys in. Lord knows they've all had enough. Cultural and artistic expression. artistic activism, utilizing art, music, literature, film to raise awareness about the conflict and promote empathy for the Palestinian people. Get together with your friends, make independent films. It's like Israel has been going after and killing filmmakers in Palestine. That's how effective those movies are. Why do we all care so much about the Holocaust that happened in Germany? Because we have seen movie after movie after movie about it. We've developed attachment with it. It's like 20 million Russians were killed during the Red Revolution. 20 million Africans were killed by Leopold. Yet we don't have the same connection. Why? It's because we haven't seen it. When you watch something, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. That's why giving yourself self-hate or thinking poor thoughts, bad thoughts that put yourself down is bad, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a joke, between a movie and reality. It just inputs it and accepts it all. This is why a mental diet is a very important thing when raising your consciousness. Good mental diet equals good thoughts. So be sure you're aware of that. Make movies, make videos, let people see. International cooperation and diplomacy. The United Nations and international organizations engage with these guys. The European Union and other international organizations to advocate for the ceasefire and a peaceful resolution. These guys are a bunch of limp dicks right now. I don't know what exactly, but none of these organizations have a moral leg to stand on anymore. They just won't act. Oh, this is our international law, but we're not going to do anything about it. It's like, are you really? Is this really the extent of your power? Are we just seeing that this is a facade? And that the real power lies with people with actual resources? Is that it? Because you really do need to rethink that as the citizenship body. Because these are they're supposed to be your leaders. They're using all of your collective resources to supposedly direct you and get stuff done, but they're not doing it. Which means they've either been corrupted or they're just weak. Or they're afraid of what somebody else might do. And in that case, they've been compromised. So it is important to get close to these people, to make your presence known, connect with them, contact them, let them know that they have support to do this. We've been hearing a lot of things about blackmail lately. High-powered politicians getting blackmailed for things that they've done. When pushing through initiatives like stopping war from happening, we need to let them know that certain concessions can be made. Granted, justice will always prevail, but they have to ask themselves, what kind of legacy do they want to leave? What kind of legacy do we all want to leave? We must sacrifice, we must lay down on the line what needs to be laid down so that our children and theirs can prosper. Support diplomatic initiatives. Support the International Criminal Court's investigation into war crimes in Palestine, or in the Palestinian bid for statehood at the UN. If they get given that, they get given protection by the UN. Granted, Israel has said they will move unilaterally, but they do that at their own peril. Because basically what that's saying is the UN will come in and act. Israel cannot stand up to the entire world. What they're doing is wrong. It didn't start wrong, but it sure as hell is wrong now. You only get to go so far when somebody attacks you. You don't get to exterminate an entire populace. You don't get to go after their children and their women. We are living in a different age. We need to make that so with every action, every beat of our hearts, every time we put the safety onto our guns instead of pulling the trigger. We need to facilitate people-to-people diplomacy by organizing exchange programs, delegations, cultural visits between Palestine, Israelis, and international citizens. Find those people within Israel that are looking for peace. Speak to them. Again, this is my second call for that. Non-violent protests and demonstration. I cannot stress this enough, especially in the United States. We are not here to start wars. We are not here to hurt people. We are here to stop people from hurting others. Doing a march, building momentum for a ceasefire. Engaging in civil acts of disobedience, going the Gandhi route, the Martin Luther King route. I have a dream, and he still has a dream, that he will one day live in a nation where we are not judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Every Israeli, every Palestinian, every American, every European, African, Asian, Native American, everyone, Middle Eastern, needs to listen to that. The content of our character we will always be responsible for. It determines how society functions. Morality is guidelines and structure within society that support life. Sit-ins, drawing attention to the issue, challenging unjust policies. Get creative with the civil disobedience. I mean, for Texans, it's easy. Just don't comply with Bill 89, regardless. Get your money's worth after that thing is struck down in the Supreme Court. Because I don't know what he is thinking. Tell people, send Like one of the most powerful things I think that we can do is getting back to calling your representatives. Send out social media posts that have their public numbers and names so that people just see it over and over and over again, and they're just like, you know what, I'm just going to give them a call. I can make one phone call today. If 350 million people made one phone call today, wouldn't be too much skin off your back. There's how many representatives and senators and governors? I'm sure that would be quite the day if all of us just made one phone call. Support Palestinian nonviolent resistance. Amplify and support their resistance movements. The Palestinian Popular Resistance, or the Gaza Strip's Great March of Return. But make sure that those movements are nonviolent. Palestine, I know it's tough. I know it's tough. But this whole from the river to the sea thing, I'm sorry guys, you don't got the guns for it. It's not gonna happen. Not like that. And you sure as hell are not going to inspire peace by advocating for the same thing that the Israelis are now doing to you. The wound in your heart goes deep, I know. But do not turn to this. The media just picks it up and runs with it. They take it and they say, this is why we're doing this. Because all Arabs want to destroy Israel. We need to take it back many notches, guys. And say, you guys, we can love each other. We can find it in our hearts to make this work. We are society. We are a society in an advanced age. Whether or not we move forward in that advancement depends on our ability to get along. The last thing is monitor progress, adapt and adjust, and sustain the momentum. Palestine is a reflection of the world right now, as Ukraine was before it. We need to get our act together. Too many wars, too many conflicts. The earth has enough room for all of us. I don't know if I finished that Swedish study, but when parents had enough, they only had 1 or 2 children, the population will stabilize till as many are going out are coming in. We will find sustainable resources. We will crack fusion power soon. We will colonize the stars. But it depends on all of us getting together and acting as one. None of us are free until Palestine is free. None of us are at peace until the heart of Israel is at peace. We've been saying only one half of the saying. It takes two to tango, and it takes two to dance. We can do this. We have yet another chance in our long history of existence to prove to ourselves that we can choose love over separation. I'm going to leave you with that. This has been, I think, episode 8. I'm your buddy, Mitchell Pretty Man. Signing off for now. This is episode 7, not 8.